You can't prove a chocolate leaf goo, chemical goo, is the same magnetics and chemistry ratios of fruits and vegetables. That's ridiculous, and that's what they were insinuating, and so it's false advertising. And it's kind of a bad, you're going to see a lot of that because people are starting to understand that the health is in the fruits and veggies. And for humans, particularly in the fruits and the berries and the melons. And people are starting to wake up to that. So it's all, you see it all over the TV. You got the Dr. Oz's out there. You have all these medical doctors coming aboard, of course, with their influences, and then they're pushing that, which is good. You can see through the ups and downs on Oz's stuff, and that's okay. The fact that he's out there promoting these things is a good thing. I really, anyone can get out there and do that. I enjoyed his people at the zoo area. Now, he could not tolerate my breast milk or soy formulas, and when he did have them, he had mucus and blood in the stool. Yeah, I mean, this is where even as an infant, you've got to shift them away. The coconut milks are really the most gentle and the easiest milks on the digestive tract. It promotes good bowel movements, high fatty acids, good for brain and nerve development. You can also, we have to put some of these children at 19 months. He's ready. We're ready to go with him. We don't need nothing like that anymore. He needs fruits, bad. Fruits, berries, and melons. 19 months old, are you kidding me? And he should be starting to eat. And so we need to get some fruits and berries and melons down this youngster, no matter how little at any given time there. Food protein, enterocolitis syndrome, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know, as we've been talking, at 19 months old, this child has kidney and adrenal problems right off. That's an assumption that everyone should make. Because that assumption, whether you're right or half wrong, you would never be all wrong, because I could safely probably say I could put $1,000 on that table, and if you could find me some child born today with a healthy set of kidneys and adrenals, you can have that $1,000. You're just not going to find that. It's just not out there. And so it's a degree of that. But in these youngsters here, you're really finding some serious lymphatic problems. And you say digestive, but you have to go back and understand that in the digestive tract, we're talking about cells and two fluids. No matter where you turn, pancreas, gallbladder, liver, GI tract itself, gut tissue itself, it's all just cells and two fluids. What breaks down cells are always the acid side, the corrosive side of chemistry, and also the lymphatic system that deals with that. So over time, and all these genes passing down from these high protein diets have created an intolerance to them completely, and that's what you're seeing here, a complete intolerance to anything that even smacks of dairy or protein. And you'll go back, some of you in the class will have access to some of these older books here we're going to have for you, and you'll see where these guys tore it up and just blew the myth out of the door of proteins. We just are not a protein species, and we got to get over that concept of protein. I don't know, people are trying to drive it home, and I don't know why, because it's not a valid argument. So you'll see this youngster do much better. Shift him into the fruits and the berries and the melons in particular, and some coconut milk. Either get the good coconuts or take the Thai coconuts. Or I like in between Thai and what you see way overripe in the grocery store. Thai coconuts to me are not ripe enough. You let them ripen a little longer and that meat starts to solidify. You can tear that meat right out of that coconut, and there is nothing any more pleasurable than to eat that. Very nirvanic and very nutritious. So these are some of the things these children can start getting on and developing their mind and emotions and their brain function. At the same time, you got to get into the kidneys. So this is a 19-month-old. I'm going to say that if it was me, I'd probably at least, you can ask Jennifer, she's dealt with kids so much here, but I would say at 19 months old, it's going on 2 years old, I'd probably do at least 6 drops of lymphatic 1 and 6 drops of kidney 1. I would probably do some parasitin on them, 6 drops of that, and maybe 6 drops of the endocrine gland. You might even do 3 drops of the liver gallbladder here. And if it was me, I would be doing that to my son. With the bowel issues, you could use the stomach and bowel capsule, open it up and mix it into applesauce. And make yourself some fresh applesauce here and feed this young man some applesauce with that in there. I even attempted being on an extremely restrictive diet myself, eating only fresh or cooked fruits and vegetables, oats, rice, and gluten-free items. It helped a little. Well, first of all, oats, rice, crap, starch. Keep in mind, this was way before I knew about the raw food diet. Yeah, I understand. You guys are doing well. He was then placed on an amino acid-based formula. Huh. Well, that's protein. But amino acids, okay, not as complex, so I agree. But get them through your fruits and berries and your melons, where the primates do, and then you'll have a real strong little monkey here. I was not thrilled about having to give him formula, but it was the only thing that truly helped him. Now that he is older, I have noticed many fruits and vegetables I'm giving him. All right, he does not eat any meat, soy, dairy, or grains. I hope not. Corn, pasta, rice, on occasional potato. I have been doing this intuitively ever since. Well, good work, but at that age, don't get him used to starches, because then you'll have fungal problems. Because with the adrenals in children like this, they're not going to metabolize their sugars well in the first place. That's another problem we face. And then, of course, starches is just going to bring in the fungal family more. So I really would tell you, stay away from starches. Use the coconuts and the fresh fruits and the berries and the melons, and you'll have a little powerhouse kid after he gets all the mucus out from the previous proteins and stuff. So he'd probably go into a little sinus or bronchitis or something like that's possible. I know my son's digestive system is not completely healed yet. The mucus is gone and has been for a year, but he still has lots of undigested food in his stool. Ooh. And he was extremely low iron count. Well, that's the adrenal glands, so that makes sense to me. At the same time, you could use a little pancreatic as well. You could use a little, get the capsules maybe, and just take 1/4 of a capsule maybe, and put it in a little applesauce, something like that, and start working on that pancreas. Again, this is why you want the most simplest of foods for this young man. They digest easy, they lend their aminos and all their nutrition easy. The problem is going to be absorption and, and that sort of thing. So I'd promote chewing better for the youngster and getting in those kind of habits, but going after that. Matter of fact, you could alternate. You could do a little pancreas for a couple of weeks and then do a little liver gallbladder for a couple of weeks. You could go back and forth if it's a financial problem, but you just need a little bit, just a few drops. When he got a paper cut the other day, it bled like crazy. Well, he is also craving things like ice and wanting to each pick up like hair and chalk. Oh. Well, he's probably starving. I mean, realistically, he's probably not absorbing his nutrition well. And you might want to give him some greens just to give you some additional minerals and stuff, but you definitely want to make parsley a bit of that green. You got to fix it up for him a little bit with a little apple or something to make it sweet so he'll tolerate it. But I'd be very, very gentle on the greens. Let's see here. As I said, I have been juicing greens and giving that to him every day, along with giving him an iron supplement. He's also still drinking. You have to be careful with the iron supplements, though, because they're acidic, and you can also create more bonding that you might not want there. So be just careful with that. Get the adrenals up, and you'll see his iron going up. Poor little fella. I mean, you're just going to see a lot of this, but you see a lot of this and a lot worse out there. Just unbelievable problems here. Well, I wouldn't give him supplements, but I'd definitely give him what I was talking about. If you want to give him a little supplement, get that God's Blend powder and mix it into some applesauce or something. That's got all the nutrition in the world in it, even more so. So a little God's Blend, which is the God's Garden superfood, you can mix a little bit of that in some applesauce, highly nutritive. Got some herbs in there for the lymph and the kidneys as well. At the same time, this isn't, you're doing good with the nutritional side. It's getting the nutrition into him, and that becomes the lymphatic side. You see what I'm saying? So we get back to that lymphatic side again every time we take a look at anything like this. So you've got capsules you can open up and put just a little bit into a applesauce. You get the coconut milks, which you'll probably take down quite readily. The fruits and berries, you know how all of that's doing. Also, what are your thoughts on freeze-dried fruits and vegetables? Perfect. Okay, I mean, it's definitely a choice. Not as nice as the living, but certainly okay. They are considered a raw food. Well, I mean, anytime you alter a food in any way, dehydrate it or whatever, you're gonna change its water soluble contents, which is your flavonoids and your Bs and stuff. But with that said, it's a form. Between the frozen, I like a little better, and then of course raw is the only way. And when you're talking about a young soul there in a little human body, that little body's got to grow. Living food is what all living cells need, of course. Please know I plan to posting this to all my FPIES blogs out there to get the word out about raw diet. Yeah, these moms have got to get their babies back online here. Real important to do that. And these formulas, even breast milk, these children are not tolerating anything like that anymore. So we're having to do different things early on. The coconut milk is mostly tolerable by most infants. Which you can mix the milk and the especially if you don't get these old coconuts you get in these grocery stores, they're all dehydrated out almost. That meat should be real pliable and easy to peel off the nut there, off the shell. But mixing that and then filtering it, that would be excellent. Source keeps the bowels moving nice, and then the fruits and the berries pounding the body with flavonoids and high nutrition and high magnetics, and that boy will come out of it. And all these children will. I mean, and we're seeing this so early on, we're having to make them do the fruits and the coconuts almost out to shoot. I mean, this is part of what we're facing very serious issues here. Thanks so much, Megan, for your question there. I'm going to say that's about the best you can do. The herbs, you always want to think about the kidneys. Think about where most of the problems are in the children. Neurological, which is sweeps right back to the adrenal glands. So bottom line, adrenals, kidneys, lymphatics, you're seeing that. That's reaching into the GI tract. Of course, there's no such thing as healthy GI tracts. There's no way. I could put $1 million down there on the table. Be nice to see that kind of money, but put $1 million down on that kind of table and no one would take it because there's no healthy colon in the world. This was established many moons ago. So we're really just a product of our misguided omnivorish diets that we have to get and pull back and start regenerating tissue. This is the only level that you're going to find out there, guys, that it's going to be that humans have to move to, because we've decayed so long that we can't continue decaying and keep the race. If God doesn't want the Homo sapien race, fine. But as souls, you guys want to get yourself aligned and prepare for that side of it. This is the person, MILDA, Milda. I don't know which is, I've got some markings here. 2 more cases. Let me see here. This is from Lithuania. Hello there, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see. First case is my brother's. He's 25 years old now. As a newborn, he was vaccinated tuberculosis, poliomyelitis. It's interesting how they suck those 2 words together. That's because when they started vaccinating for polio went up 680%. I mean, they created so much polio from the vaccine polio, it wasn't even funny, and they still are doing it today. You don't hear about it as much, but there's a ton of polio set in motion by the vaccine, so that was cute. So then, according to, what was it, Wallach or whatever, he's the emerging virus guy, which I thought was a very well written book.